Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I am your host, Brian Call, and I'm joined by my brother, the Gritty Broman. How are you, Brent?
I'm well. Thank you.
Today's podcast is with Travis Short.
And I don't think I've ever met a man with a more misleading name.
Travis is quite tall, actually.
He's like 6'5", 6'6".
It's another throwback podcast where we were messing around with doing a Mountain Ops podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so we recorded a bunch of shows, and we've decided we're just going to roll those into, reappropriate them, use them in the Gritty Podcast.
Because they were really good ones.
We had some really good conversations. And this one with Travis Short is, you're talking about a dude who was out of shape, unhappy, struggling with a relationship, just not in a good place mentally, physically. And it's a comeback story of him taking his health back.
Mm-hmm.
And
let's bounce back. He showed up randomly one day at Mountain Ops.
Right.
He lives in Montana, was in Utah for a visit for something, swung by the office, and we all just happened to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the gals downstairs was giving him a tour, bumped into us, and just thanked us for the Mountain Ops stuff and what it did for him. And we asked what was going on and invited him on the podcast.
And then we got the story about all the weight loss and the fitness, and we're like, we need to do a podcast with you.
He lost like a pound a day.
It's a great story, and it's inspiring. And so we sit down and we talk to him. And if you're one of those people that's just struggling with your health or your fitness, and you're not sure how to regain it, Travis walks you through his process, how he hit bottom, kind of reminds me of David Goggins a little bit, like just got to a point in life where it's just like, I got to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
And then each step along the way, he did the 90-day challenge, Mountain Ops 90-day challenge, which, he talks about how helpful and how he joined the 90-day challenge Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of that close-knit group that supports each other, and man, it was a really inspiring story. So you're going to enjoy this show no matter where you're at in life, because it's just great to see people and to hear people overcome challenges and change.
His story is a common one. He was a dude who was just always kind of active, always kind of athletic, got married, had some kids, wants to spend time with his kids, which stops him from working out. You end up eating Happy Meals along with the kids because it's convenient. The next thing you know, 40 pounds overweight.
Yeah. And we have a terrible diet in this country. The food supply is pretty crappy. If you're not deliberate about preparing your own food and sourcing it from good places, you're eating junk.
Not just deliberate. You have to be like mean and aggressive.
A little bit, yeah. Because even regular stuff at a normal, nice restaurant is made with all sorts of hormones and chemicals and genetically modified organisms and so on. So
we stopped. My dog, she's on a natural food diet, and so she gets fed raw food all the time. We stopped feeding her chicken, and her nipples shrank by like 2/3.
Yeah, scary stuff.
Like within a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's frightening.
Yeah, it ain't good, folks. You need to spend some time looking at what you're putting in your body. It's great in New Zealand, all that stuff's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
In Canada, a bunch of it's illegal too. I just think the FDA is a joke in our country.
Dude.
They ban things that they shouldn't, and then they make things legal that should be banned.
There's some YouTube videos where they throw back food pictures from like the 20s and the 30s and the 40s to now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know what the average size of a chicken breast was? It was like 3 or 4 ounces for a chicken breast. And now you can eat an entire chicken breast for a meal. Like, that's not natural.
Right. Yeah, we got some fat chickens, folks. So we picked a winner for the binos. We were doing a giveaway for anyone who had signed up for the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
Please still sign up. We're going to do more giveaways for the newsletter. But if you go to...
We've got more binos.
Yeah, if you go to briancall.com and go there, you can sign up for the newsletter there. And we've selected a winner, and we sent them an email, and we're waiting to hear back from them. We'll give them a few days. If we don't hear back from them, we'll select another one, and we'll keep going down the line until we find someone who wants the binos.
Yeah, and then we're going to invite them on the podcast and talk to them a little bit.
Yep. So, pretty cool. excited about that. They're a pair of brand new 10x42 Leupold Santiam BX5 binos, and they're a great piece of glass.
Pretty sweet.
Comments. So we had some comments that we got last week. Well, this was on a podcast, wasn't it? These comments.
These are scattering throughout the. Some of them are on a podcast. Some of them are on some of the films we did.
They're all within the last 5 to 6 days. Caleb Booe,
Booe.
He says, "What caliber did all you guys use?" And I believe he's referring to Ryan and I on the tar hunt. Mm-hmm. And we used a Christensen Arms 300 caliber Win Mag, and Ryan has a Weatherby 300 Win Mag as well, but he couldn't get his passport in time to fill out the paperwork in order to bring a gun into get the permits.
I mean, you barely got that stuff done.
No, I didn't have much trouble with it. But the tricky part, when we talk about this on our podcast, trying to help people figure out how they can go to New Zealand on their own. The tricky part with bringing a rifle, it's easy to bring a bow. Mm-hmm. So you just bow hunt New Zealand, boom, slam dunk. But and it's totally doable, as you could see from the last video we did, part 5, easy bow hunt. It really is. It's a fun hoot, awesome, pretty easy bow hunt.
And you'll see tar.
You'll get into tar. This was just a walk-in area. Of course, we had Remy Warren helping us out, so I can't vouch for all the areas, but it just from what I've seen, people in New Zealand are spoiled. They're spoiled.
They are. They have a hut system.
Yeah, true.
That's a different level of spoiling.
We're spoiled in a little bit different ways here. We do have a game management
vast
system,
tracts of land,
and we have various animals and seasons, and we're lucky too. But as far as tar go, it's an amazing animal to hunt, and they have amazing land.
Though we are lucky, it's still hard to hunt year round in America.
I don't know about that. I mean,
if you want to hunt, I can't just go out and hunt tar whenever. I just can't hunt certain things whenever. There's a time in a season.
Yeah. And you got to draw a tag, or you got to do your research.
It's more effort to hunt year round, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, we did use 300 caliber Win Mag. Same thing we used on the
black bears,
black bear hunts. Yeah. Just like that caliber. John Tiller, he said, tip for keeping your feeling in your fingers and feet in frozen conditions, take 150 milligrams of aspirin. It thins your blood. So maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I don't know that I want my
leery
blood
about
thinned.
Swigging aspirin,
But, who knows? I'd like to hear a few people's comments on that.
Yeah, but what if you slip and you scrape something and now you're just a faucet up on a high elevation, that sounds... At that point, just take a swig of whiskey. Yeah. It'll keep you warm.
So...
they have these things called hot hands.
Another comment was from John Seminelli. He wrote, "Whatever happened to the green belly bars? I thought you were big on them." And I responded to him on YouTube, but I took the green belly bars last year. I did a lot of stoveless hunts, so I didn't bring jet oil or anything to cook food with. I didn't want to hassle with the cooking, and I didn't want to bring it with me.
That sounds so miserable.
And I loved it, and so I didn't cook anything. Part of my every day I ate a green belly bar. It was part of that. It was like 600 or 700, 800 calories. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Now they're not my favorite though. They're decent they're a meal, and they're in a little pouch, and they're lightweight, and they're calories, and they're relatively healthy, So, but this year I've kind of bagged. I'm enjoying cooking meals. I like Ryan's mountain mush recipe that I've changed to suit me.
Well, your wife is a saint, has made you like 200 meals this year.
And my wife has made killer backcountry meals and dehydrated all of them. And I just love heating that up and sprinkling some Parmesan on top that I bring. Parmesan. And I'm eating like a king. It's way better than a green belly. So I've done all my own. I have, for this elk hunt I'm leaving on today, I have tar jerky every day, honey glazed, and it's a freaking bomber. I've got Tillamook cheese packets that I'm bringing along. I've got some Cliff Shot blocks. I've got basically my fruit leathers that Suzanne made for me, which are just like a sweet potato, a cup of sweet potato, and a cup of pear sauce. Mm-hmm. All homemade pear sauce that she just made from the tree in the yard. Mix those together, and I've got fruit leather like that for each day. So it's a serving of sweet potato and pear, basically. I've got dried banana for each day. And then I've got my chicken curry, rice quinoa dinner. I've got the mountain mush. I've got a couple of Smashmallow Rice Krispies, some marshmallows just to munch on here and there. I got peanut butter bars and Perfect bars. Yeah, I got little protein balls that Suzanne makes for me.
Those protein balls
they're amazing with coconut. Ben begged Suzanne. Cousin Ben just paid Suzanne to make a huge batch for him and Logan, his son, who's going to join us for the weekend. And
they're stinking good.
Anyway, so that's kind of what's in the backpack, and I never get tired of anything I'm eating. Like green bellies were just like, okay, I need water, and I need to work through this. Mm-hmm. Just need to eat them and get them down.
It's like a protein shake 20 years ago.
Yeah,
you just got to choke her down.
It's not that bad, but it's nothing compared to the enjoyment I'm getting out of what I'm bringing right now. And the mini mo is shallow, and I cook up in addition to that, I like hot ignite just before I go to bed. Mm-hmm. I
not
like
ignite,
the hot cocoa
like,
or hot slumber. Yeah, I actually prefer cold ignite in the morning and then hot slumber at night. Mm-hmm. They have the hot ignite, the mountain mocha and different flavors.
Cider and cocoa.
The cider is bomber. Mm-hmm. I love the cider, but it's just not cold enough for me to really like a hot drink. I'm not a hot drink in the morning person anyway. I never have been my whole life. And so I actually like a cold, brisk drink in the morning until it gets snowy outside. Mm-hmm. You know, we're not there yet. So
it depends. Like, if I need to have what you call a movement, I want a hot drink first thing in the morning. If I want to stave it off, I'm taking something cold.
I've got Biotics and Renew in the meal kit, so everything's flowing smooth. So I don't.
The trains are running on time, folks.
So Green Belly bars, they're all right. Right now I feel like I have a better food system. It's a little extra weight to bring the stove, but the enjoyment is 10 times more.
Yeah.
Christopher Foster said, "It's great to see you and Brent working together."
Do you know Chris?
Mm-mm.
Chris is a dude who lives back in Canby.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Remember that delivery furniture company that I was working for?
Uh-huh.
That's my boss. He's a little rough around the edges, but the dude is a freaking warrior. He's the first dude I ever saw pick up a couch by himself and just walk it into someone's house like it was no big deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Brent has been crushing it. You're working on videos. Currently, you have an elk hunt from Arizona that's old school footage that you've been working on.
It's really weird because we have Uncle Kevin's 4K footage of the first day.
And you have some old Panasonic 8mm tape.
Yeah. The
Mini 8.
The aspect ratio is not rectangular. It's perfectly square.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was the in-between stages between camera upgrades. It's funny. So you have this 4K footage,
elk,
and then you have this crappy tape footage. And I've never really shared it because it's such crappy footage, but Brent's been going through the stuff, having fun making videos, and he's like, man, this is cool. So he's been putting together a little video of that elk hunt. And then we have some exceptional footage, I think, from Prince of Wales Island on like a 6-part series. Mm-hmm. And for anyone who's ever wanted to go to Southeast Alaska and experience an adventure, it's incredible.
Well, here's the thing: is like when people talk about Prince of Wales, I don't think they realize all the things they can do up there.
Oh yeah, it's like we were crabbing every day.
Every day.
Which what's this crab thing? Brent was.
I don't know how to say it. So
crab butter tamale.
Okay, so there's tamale? This. You know when you crack open the crab?
Yeah.
And it's got that greenish stuff on the inside of it.
Yeah.
That green slimy stuff.
The poopy guts.
It's not poopy guts. That's actually its liver and its pancreas.
Okay.
It functions as both those things.
Right.
And
Which
just like,
are both filters that clean crap.
do you not eat livers? I'm just saying,
Dude.
okay? So it's a thing. People eat livers of all animals.
I know. People, these guys on the island talk about how they love crab butter.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to vomit at the thought of it.
Well, traditionally, the French people hid it from you. They would take it out and they would put it in sauces. And so they use it as a thickener, and it gives a little bit of some twang to it.
So on the POW footage, you'll see us like break these crabs down, pop their heads off the tops of their shells off, and you pull the legs out and all this stuff, and then inside is like this lungs and then this like gut material, which is they call crab butter, and it just looks disgusting. But apparently, it's got flavor. People like it. So
you can actually, if you go online, there's it's called Puro, Pooro, and you can just buy a jar of the stuff.
Really?
Yeah, just a jar of.
It's pretty cool. Brent's got that video underway. I just got back from Kodiak Island with Cole Kramer and Casey Harbertson, and Casey and I hunted mountain goats. It's an epic place, and I'll tell you, I mean, it's no lie. I think we saw 200 or 300 goats. I mean, I've never seen a place that packed with goats. It's Kodiak is wow,
and they were all big. I could not tell which was a nanny, which one was a billy.
They're gorillas. I mean, if you don't know what you're looking at, especially, but the country is just beautiful. It's an island, there's ocean on all the sides, and then we saw some big old bears fishing. And it's just grizzly bears are next level. These Kodiak,
those hillsides remind me.
Oh man,
they remind me of the intro to Jurassic Park, where they're flying on the helicopter.
Absolutely. And then there's white dots sprinkled all over
the place.
Oh, a sea of green. It's
that
so
footage
green.
Was nuts, dude. I couldn't believe how many there were on like one mountainside.
Yeah. So we're gonna put a film together for our film tour that we're gonna do this year. So probably hoard that footage for a while.
Sorry, folks.
Brent's working on Kodiak.
No, Prince of Wales.
Prince of Wales, but also we're going to get the Kodiak footage from Leupold.
Mm-hmm.
We're planning to do a little day-by-day series of that you're going to edit. So we have some good hunts coming down the pipeline, and then I go elk hunting today, and we had some pretty good footage from the first few days Ben and I went before I went to Kodiak, and I got a couple of weeks to get it done, so we'll see what kind of video. It's solo. Pretty much it's a solo hunt, so I don't know. I don't have high hopes for video, you know, especially getting a lot of action because I don't want to screw up my hunt trying to film it, you know. I ain't Tim Burnett or Remy Warren, so we'll see what happens, but who knows? Maybe I end up with some great video from that. I think people could appreciate a vlog about it either way, but I would really like to get, you know, a more traditional kind of video out of it. A series out of it. But anyway, yeah, Travis Short, I think you're going to enjoy this show. Let us know what you think. We appreciate all the comments and the support. Sign up for the newsletter. We're going to do some more giveaways around that. Use the code GRITTY to get free shipping at Mountain Ops. And then use the code GRITTY to get 15% off Sissy Sticks, trekking poles. If you're out there shopping for some poles, highly recommend them. They're aluminum on the bottom, carbon on the top. Carbon fiber. They're great. They're light. But they're tough. As it's still September, if you want to get in on Corey's Elk 101 course on how to kill elk, sign up for that course, and you get 20 entries to win the Elk 101 truck. Use the code GRITTY and you'll save 20% or $20.
You save $20 and you get 20 entries.
Yeah, and then if you just buy the Mountain Ops Ignite Bugleberry flavor that is being put out by Elk 101 and Mountain Ops together, which is a kinky flavor. I think most people will really like it. Yeah, every time you buy some of that Ignite, you get entries to win the truck as well. So check it out, folks. It's pretty cool. I think that's it. Ready?
On to the show.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Enjoy the podcast. Stay gritty. We are joined by Travis Short. We just sprung this on Travis.
He literally dropped into headquarters today to actually share a really amazing story with us of a journey that we want to get to. And we just looked at him and said, Travis, we got to have you on the podcast. And he's like, I'm down.
I'll do it.
Yeah. Most people actually kind of get like nervous and they're like, I don't think I want to. I don't. But you were like, yeah, let's do this thing.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of nervousness,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is really uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
In the circles I run, you guys are sort of celebrities.
Oh, it's the weirdest thing when people say that to me. I'm not going to lie because, Travis, we're just like you. We're just people that love the same things you do. We just are fortunate that we get to maybe talk about it and throw it out there on different pages and videos and stuff like that. But man, we're all the same. We're cut from the same cloth at this table, which is awesome. But Travis, you came all the way down here from Montana.
Yeah, this morning I left at about 3:30, 3 o'clock to just come down here and pick up a rig, and on that Mountain Ops group page,
the
Conquer
Fitness
Loss
page.
I just threw it out there, said, yeah, just want to think about just dropping in, checking out the store, maybe buying some things you just don't have access to immediately without ordering online, and overwhelming support.
That page is awesome.
Yeah, and when they said yes, it's a good idea, you should, I sort of cancel out everything else. I'm like, I'm going.
Doing it.
And I'm getting nervous as I'm going up. I'm like, I think this is starting to look familiar from Eric's videos he does.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, there it is.
There's HQ built right into the mountain.
I Google it. Mountain Ops headquarters.
Okay, do you guys remember the place? Now, this I need to look this up real quick. Indiana Jones. You seen Indiana Jones?
All of them.
Okay, remember Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yes.
Where they go into where the Holy Grail is, and that place is built literally into the Red Rock. That place really exists, and I cannot remember what it's named.
Mm-hmm.
But Brent, if you could find what that actual place is. But I've actually had a lot of people tell me that Mountain Ops is kind of like that. But in respect to, this place is literally built into the side of the Wasatch Front and the mountain front. And when you kind of come up on it, it's a really cool view. It's totally different. Also, you're driving through neighborhoods to get here.
I remember specifically when you guys were still moving things in, and Eric, because he's all, man, this is cool. It's just really way up here. I'm like, man, it's not this far off the beaten path. For me, I'm from Montana, where closest Walmart for me is 30, 40 miles.
40 miles? Oh,
yeah,
my gosh.
So we sort of rate it. And, so we're 30 some miles outside of Bozeman.
So from Three Forks, correct?
Yep.
Basically, on today's show, you've had a major transformation in your life.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
And we're going to talk about that because, what was it, December?
December 26th, I woke up probably in a very deep depression inside. Try to keep it on the outside because it's the holidays. And yeah, just laid in bed, spiraled.
How long had you been going through that?
Off and on for probably the better part of 2+ years. Had a back injury, had, put it off, had back surgery. Wasn't living a healthy lifestyle. I was eating fast food, processed food. Even though I had a freezer full of venison and elk, and it's easier to go through the drive-through.
It is.
And just all that over the
And
time.
French fries?
And then
Good, dude.
and never would I ever say family was an excuse, but having a family is your priority, and managing time. And that's what I more or less did. Is I had a lot of free time and I didn't know I had. And taking care of it, my wife has been my biggest supporter. I woke up Christmas Eve morning and just felt terrible. It's emotional for me because I was in a very bad place mentally, and I sort of portrayed it, maybe not as bad as it was, but it definitely wasn't there. And
your wife knew? I mean,
yeah, I think she knew. She said, just find something, get behind it, give it a try, and go for it. She was very supportive. I think whatever I would have done, she would have supported me on 100%.
and her advice was,
If you're going to do it, do it. Don't do it for a couple weeks and quit. I've had bouts of going to the gym for a couple days and then just sort of find something else to do. This took, and I'd had a gym membership to this gym for in our local gym in Three Forks for probably 2 or 3 months prior, and I've been there less than 2 or 3 times.
So did she just say, you woke up, you were down, and she said to get in shape, or did she say like?
No. So believe it or not, I get up every morning and watch the new episode of Best Season Yet.
Okay.
And it got there towards the end of the year, and the Hush guys threw it out there about this 90-day challenge, and I knew nothing about it. And I followed you guys off and on through, Total Archery Challenge, seeing you guys up there, trying out your products here and there. But I really got behind the Hush guys because I love hunting. I love how they do it. Reminds me of me and my friends. And then Casey told a story, and I actually followed Casey's video, his personal video, when he goes downstairs in the basement and sees his wife doing yoga or something.
Yeah.
And seeing the pictures, and I sort of relate myself to him in a way. He did. I mean, when you look back, I didn't realize he didn't look healthy, but now you look at him, he's
totally different,
a beast. Right? Yeah.
I've known Casey for years. I've known Casey for 5 or 6 years now. And I have watched that individual, and we talked about it that night at the party, how being Hush, having to put your life out there constantly and put a camera in your face, you've got to turn it on. You've got to smile, and you've got to be engaging, and you've got to send a good message, right? Nobody wants to listen to somebody who's negative or sad, or, it's hard to listen to that person, right?
Absolutely.
But hiding behind those eyes was a man who was suffering with a lot of insecurities. He wasn't very happy, and he had been in a very good place before, but he had fallen out of those routines. And so as you kind of speak to that now, and you're talking about like you resonate with Casey's story, I think resonates with all of us.
Right.
We all do this. We all come in and out of these ebbs and flows of like happiness, but talk a little bit more too, as you're kind of going, I kind of just segue there to,
first of all, I'd like to, for anyone, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's cliche. And I was telling you guys out in the hallway, you guys saved my life. And I attribute a lot of that to actually Casey. If I had to point one way, looked at him, looked at his story, remind me a lot of myself. Family. You want to hunt so bad. And you could see the one thing that he couldn't hide is being away from his family. And I'm just like, man, I'm a lot like that. I could leave for elk camp. And my wife said the other day, she said, man, all you do when you leave is you call. You find cell coverage and you call. FaceTime. Casey, he got me up the mountain of a decision and showed me you guys. And it took me to another level that I haven't been in physically for 13 or better years, probably maybe 15.
Really?
And this is no kidding. 2 weeks in, I just told my wife, what do you think about doing a Spartan race? I turned 40 this year. That's way out of my comfort zone. So I'm not a runner.
You're like 6'5".
And then, it's like, I was thinking you're jumping over fire, you're running in water. That is not what one of those races are. After I signed that $140 submit button, I YouTubed the video. I'm like, there's a rope climb? So I started kicking it in, doing rope climbs at the gym, push-ups, things like that. But to get back to when the decision to do it, there's 4 days where I talked about it, and a lot of things for me, I talk about things, and that sometimes I don't drive through and do them. And I got away from that. That's not who I was. And so my goal was find something, do it, commit to it for however long it takes to where my psyche, I'm comfortable with myself. And I'm getting there, and there's still a lot of things that I want to change, mentally, personally, but physically I've already reached my goal that I set, in the 90-day challenge. I reached it. I want to say this March 2nd or 3rd, I sort of got on the scale, and I was there. I was a pound away. And now I reset my goal, and I'm not never been one like, oh, I hit that goal.
Let's
Set another one. So, as I was explaining out there, I want to get to a point where I can maintain.
Tell me about this decision. You make the decision, and then what?
It was weird. It was sort of, things fell into place very oddly. We talked about it. I watched the videos around New Year's, go to Sportsman's Warehouse, and there's a little shelf, this wide, that tall, of just mountain op stuff. I'm like, God, you guys are always talking about this stuff. And then they had the weight loss thing. That's the 90-day challenge right there. I think that's the weight loss box. Like, you know what? I can't afford not to try it. Boom, I snatch it up. I think I signed up January 4th. My wife's helping me. I'm like, I can't get on it.
She's like, I'll do it.
I can't even
like
sign into my
all good
iPhone.
wives do.
She's taking my pictures, and it's crazy. It's next thing I know,
You're committed.
I think the net is January 12th. I have a picture of me holding my son, and I'm 8 days in, and I remember I had my mountain ops filled full of almond milk and the ammo and that one. I had enduro and this one. And mind you, I'm still new. I don't know about the Yeti and Ignite and all this other stuff. I'm just breaking the ice of what.
You just bought the kit. I got the box.
I'm the box
whatever's
guy.
in this box is supposed to go in me.
Box guy.
Yep.
And it came with a book, a dietary book, and we're following it together as a family. My children are a little less impressed. Son's always been a picky eater. My daughter, she likes meat. So the design of what the 90-day challenge is, it's super easy. I mean, if you just dedicate. The decision was getting to the decision and finding it was hard. You're like, but actually, when you break the ice and go through it, it was easy. It's like one thing at a time. Take the blaze. Take the renew in the morning. Okay, there's the first step. Maybe to do an enduro in between that and lunch. Have a banana. Do the ammo. Start thinking about 3 o'clock what you're going to cook for dinner that can be in this calorie zone. 1 day turned into 3 days. 3 days turned into 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into the first month. And I saw I lost 29 pounds.
Whoa.
Almost a pound.
Holy crap.
Almost a pound a day. A little over a pound. Because I say January 1, but it was really January 4th when I signed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I started taking the supplements and changing my eating style.
What were some of the things I was just going to ask you? Because that's 29 pounds is no joke. About a pound a day. Besides the weight loss combo, sticking to the nutrition plan and regular exercise, what was something that did you cut out of anything specific that you really cut out of?
Processed foods.
Processed foods is
No
really big
fast
for you?
food. My kids are huge fans of the Happy Meal still. They're 3 and 4 years old, so they like to crush those.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the French fries or a chicken nugget, and I'm just like, I don't eat no bread. I mean, I dump carbs almost altogether. One thing I haven't been able to dump is cheese. I'm a cheese head.
You like your cheese.
You
and Brian.
I
all
love
kinds of
cheese.
cheeses.
All kinds of dairy.
Yeah.
I just stay within a calorie range, though. And I try to eat quality dairy.
Absolutely. So organic, I do organic almond milk. We don't really, short of my daughter, she's the only one who drinks whole milk.
Yeah.
Everyone else is sort of, my wife's on board with almond milk, and it doesn't taste bad.
Yeah.
So processed foods, no fast foods. Of course, I never really did a whole lot of soda drinking. If I do have a carbonation, I do LaCroix, and that's occasionally not near as much. Also drinking alcohol, which is, a depressant.
Yeah.
And I told myself I wasn't going to do it through the whole month. I found a drink that was low calorie. I'd have one here, one there. I think I can count on one hand in 2.5 months how many drinks I've had. But it's a lifestyle change. And it's on every facet. Marriage, being a father, going to work, trying to keep a good attitude, and managing your time more wisely, which I didn't realize how bad I was at managing my time. How much free time. Sitting in front of the TV. And don't get me wrong, I was watching you guys a lot. Watching the Hush guys. I'd binge watch hunting videos. I don't know if anyone else has said this. Feels like January 4th was yesterday. And I went into a box. I came out. To this date, I'm 254, 253 pounds, give or take. And I was between 297 and 301. Depends on what scale
That's
I was
kind of
on.
where you were fluctuating.
Yeah. So I've already hit my goal. My goal weight was 255. I think I even put that on this little thing I wrote, 255. And I don't know. I want to say it was easy. The dedication was easier than I thought it was when I actually committed to it. The commitment, I think getting to the commitment level that you needed to have was the tough part.
And like Casey talks about, like when you look at his story and this film that we've put together called Decisions, the reason why Brian asked the question, like talk about that decision, because half the battle is simply making the decision and then following through with the decision and then executing daily on that decision. But like Casey said, Casey Butler from Hush, it started with just one simple decision. In his story and in his life, he's like, I don't work out and exercise a lot. He didn't. In fact, he did a lot of snowboarding. He was really athletic back then. And then he did hunting. And then he had a family. And I think the three of us can attest to, maybe besides this guy, because there was actually a part of Brian when he was out of shape. So I shouldn't say that we've all been there. Yeah.
I got to a point where I worked at a desk all day, every day, 10 hours, 12 hours a day on the road for about 2 or 3 years. And I really was completely not active. My job was all consuming. Prior to that and after that period, I've always been extremely active and ate well. So even that during that time, I still ate pretty clean. Always have. But man, complete inactivity. Like nothing
Just
physical.
sedentary.
And
Just
how
sitting.
old were you when that was kind of going on?
34.
34?
33.
Your kids were how old by then?
Oh,
Caitlin was
6, 5.
6. Yeah. So
I had babies.
yeah, he was right where
Sort of
The
where
state-
I'm at now.
yeah.
Because I have a 3 to 4 year old. So.
I say this all the time. Who was in here the other day? Brent's friend came in to visit. My brother's friend came in to visit, and his wife's pregnant, and I was like, they were like, oh, this is great. We're having a baby. And I just dropped some truth on him and was like, yeah, your life's over for a while.
a long while.
You're going to be tired. And frankly, people can take offense to this if you want. It's your choice. But the fact is, I like people who have had children in general more than people who have not.
and why?
Because when you haven't had a kid,
Long days.
you have never had someone utterly and totally dependent on you. Like that kid dies if you don't take, and you can't just put him, a fur baby doesn't count. You can't just put your baby in a crate and then shut the door.
Baby.
It's not the
You're
same
right,
thing.
you're right.
You have to care for that baby all the time. Change the diapers, give it the food, it gets sick, earaches, hospital trips. And it just, raising a little thing like that is
That's
all consuming everything. It's
That's
the
what I was
first time
getting
in your
at.
life where you're like, I really, truly am not in control of my own life. Like I cannot take a nap when I want to. I can't even use the bathroom when I need to. You really
these
are
things
chained.
these things stack up, and that's kind of what I was getting to. Is there's a lot of things, and that's why Casey talked to it too. And you say it really resonates with you, and Brian's story resonates with you too, and it resonates with me. Did I say it right?
No, it's resonate.
Resonate. I keep on saying, what did I say?
Resignate is to resign.
Good night. I keep saying, yeah, you resigned. We all resigned. Yeah, from doing bad things to our bodies.
Amen.
It's resonate,
Yes.
not resignate. Good night, Jordan. Working on vocabulary.
It's Friday.
But I've experienced the same thing that Brian's speaking to that you talked about earlier, which is like kids throw in, it's just a whole addition that you just can't, it's not offensive. I actually have a hard time talking to people that can't empathize because they don't understand. Well, why aren't you fit? Why aren't
Just
you
get a
healthy?
babysitter.
Just get a
Why-
babysitter.
Or
Why
just,
don't you
why
have,
don't you come out? Well,
Yeah.
I got to find a babysitter.
Yeah.
Just find someone.
That's
well, You
easy.
just let anyone take your kids.
And let's face
Yeah.
it, babysitters today are a ripoff.
they are not the same.
They
I
make-
don't care what Angie's list says. I don't know how qualified they are. That 5 stars, I hired one, and we were like, You were terrible.
I got paid.
You didn't even clean up the house.
I was a babysitter. I got paid like $5 for the whole night, and I cleaned their house.
These ones?
Every time.
They want $15 an hour now. I'm like,
And
that's above minimum wage.
My house is a wreck when I get home. Thankfully, though,
insane.
I have a built-in babysitter now because she is.
Yeah, Kaylin's
15,
awesome.
So,
but kids add a whole nother dimension to the, or a whole nother
yeah,
addition
and
to the equation.
I want to say that is a common period in men and women's lives where their bodies fall apart.
Yep.
And sometimes it's hard to get back, to get out of that slump. Sometimes you can almost mark the point. That's why they call it dad bod. You know, it's like the moment you get to that point, there are going to be people who give into that for the rest of their lives and go downhill physically from that day forward. And then people who are going to fight to get it back.
Yep.
And you got to decide which person you are. Yep. And that's why I'm fascinated by the decision that you made, because there's so many people out there who don't make that choice and continue to struggle and struggle and struggle.
We all have a breaking point too. And that breaking point sends you in one of two directions. Your breaking point was on December 24th.
Day after Christmas, 26.
Mm-hmm. December 26th.
Yep.
After this wonderful day of opening presents and celebrating Christmas and spending time with your children and your wife, and like, I'm sure there was a lot of self-reflection that day. It's always a self-reflecting day for me, because I finally am sitting there with all my kids and I'm watching the joy in their eyes and the excitement of Christmas and the holidays, and I love that time of year. And then all of a sudden, right after that day for you, that was a day that you'll never forget, because it was a day that you had a breaking point. Mentally, you broke down. You looked at yourself. You looked at your life. You looked at your kids. You looked at your wife, and you said, what kind of father do I want to be? Right? What were some of the questions of depression? Because I'm always fascinated by that, because I went through it. What were some of the things that were coming into your mind on December 26th that were kind of shocking you and making you question, things that ultimately motivated you to a decision?
Big motivation, of course. You want to see your kids grow.
Okay.
You want to play with them. Right after dinner, I remember eating, and of course, prime rib on the Traeger, stuffed my face, and then the kids are playing with their toys, and I can't even move. I don't want to move. I don't want to go play with them. That's not right. I want my kids to be active. I don't want them to sit in front of the TV, and I'm still guilty of one of the best babysitters I have is Octonauts on Netflix.
Jordan's just as bad,
I mean,
or worse.
Like, hey, what can I do?
Dad life.
Octonauts? Do you want
Hashtag dad life?
Yeah.
We know.
So,
and if you don't know, don't judge. Okay? It's a real thing.
It is.
Baby shark.
And Elsa. There's this. I want to be there for the long term. And I got, my dermatologist of all people was doing sort of, I have skin cancer in my family, so I go in every 6 months. And he's he found a dark skin blotch in my armpit. He's like, let me look at this. And he's like, without even looking at your blood, I can tell you're pre-diabetic. And I'm like, come on, you're crazy. Me? No. Being an athlete, now I'm a dad, of course, but
a dadlete.
And then looking at pictures, I'm like, man, maybe I am. And I had some blood work done, which my wife didn't even know about. It said, I was right there. I was on the cusp. And I was guilty of maybe throwing shade at some other people that are closer that, why don't he work out? He's diabetic. He's type 2. He can fix that. Now I am that guy. And I was right after hunting season. And I told myself, you can't be a hypocrite. And these are like small talks I have with myself through the month of December. My job sort of is heavy during the winter. I work for Department of Transportation, so I'm out when the snow is out. Mm-hmm. So I'm away from my family this time of year, and sitting by myself, reflecting, talking to yourself. What can you do better? And once again, it's just you're talking, and actions speak louder than words. And it took me the better part of 3 weeks. I think December 17th, I hurt my foot. I had to go get x-rays. I broke a bone in my toe. I'm thinking now I am fat. Things are going downhill in a bad way.
Fast. This just went south so fast.
I stepped wrong playing against an 18-year-old kid in basketball, just letting him shoot baskets against me, and I break my foot. Mm-hmm. So the decision I need to do something different was quick. To get to the point where you're at the bottom of the peak to start climbing, even though it was flat. It was still hard to find something you believe in. I mean, you're throwing yourself into something. You can read reviews, right? But a person's reviews can only be how dedicated were they. This didn't work for me. Well,
Were you worried you would quit?
I did, absolutely. Like I said, I did it not one day at a time, one step in the plan at a time. I was Googling or YouTubing on how to use the Renew, the Blaze.
Yeah.
And I think there was a question on the fitness group, like vote on what you, I just want to know how to use the stuff, how it was designed to be used. I don't want to use it, wrong.
Yeah.
It might sound like a dumb question to some who take it regularly or have been taking it for
granted.
Yeah, I just did not want to be that guy. I wanted to do it. I'm spending money, hard-earned money to get healthy. And I tell you what, there's people paying a hell of a lot more for diabetic medication than a tenth of what this stuff could do for you.
How did you stay on board? What was your plan for that?
Believe it or not, I looked at my wife and I felt almost to a point where we helped each other because she has a bad back as well. She had hip surgery back. She played professional basketball. She's tall, slender, beautiful.
This is Holly.
My wife, Holly.
Yep.
Yeah. And
we're just stalking
We're
you
checking
on
her out,
Facebook
right?
right,
Nice.
now. This is a picture of the
You
two
married-
of you, which you are.
You married up.
Yeah,
I did.
You're. I would say.
I outkicked my covers.
I was just gonna say, buddy, you are out kicking your coverage right now, or you are.
That's the middle of
outside your weight
November,
class.
and when your cheeks stick out farther than the bill of your hat, you got issues.
I'm gonna throw this up.
And that's
You
4
got your
miles
phone?
back. That's
This
4
is-
miles back. I didn't have gaiters on.
This was back in when was this?
This is November.
This is November.
So
This is Holly, his wife,
so about a month.
and this is
before
Travis.
Mhm.
you
Month before the
made your
decision.
change.
Middle of November, yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Eric, right? He tucks his ears in his flat brim. You can't.
No, I'm running out of
You're running
snaps
out of
in the
snaps
back.
in the back.
You know,
Yeah.
I used to be a pro fit guy. Now I'm a snapback guy.
Meanwhile, Holly's like, "Can you keep up, bro?"
yeah,
Right? Your wife
she's-
is like, she's charging forward. She's leading the way.
So
and
she
I'm
had,
she doesn't know how to fail. She played professional sports. And we were just talking about this last night. It's crazy. I'm all, you set goals not to achieve, you set goals to exceed. Well, sometimes you need to be all right with achieving your goals for her. For me, I've always fallen a little short since we've been married. Just maybe not being the best dad or the best husband or best person I could be. Making fun of someone that is overweight when by and large myself, I'm overweight.
yeah.
And I don't want to be a hypocrite. This has not only caused me to change my physical look, more than not my mental look, and then insecurities. You're talking about insecurities. People look at me, why do you have any insecurities? Man, my mind will race 100 miles an hour. A beautiful man such as himself across the way there, the gorgeous.
Brent,
Matt
talking about
Davis.
Brent.
Matt
Brent,
Davis.
raise your hand.
What'd you
Yeah.
call Matt out there?
Gaston.
Gaston.
Beautiful man.
He's
a guy
he's a pretty
walks
face.
like that
It's
by
annoying.
your wife, and you're
It's
like,
really annoying, actually.
nothing to see here.
yeah.
We watch Avengers, and my wife's like, oh man, he looks way better in shorter hair. Thor.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's on my wife's tops.
that's a
Chris
hall,
Hemsworth. Yeah.
What do they call it, a hall pass or something?
Yep. He's
So no, my luck living in
Travis,
Montana, the tourist area, you're gonna see him.
Yep.
Something's gonna happen. I'm
Yep.
just like,
top 5 hall pass.
yeah. So
Every time I watch a movie now, because she let me know that, every time we watch a movie now, whether it's Avengers or that guy's on every movie now, I'm just sitting there going, so what'd you think of the movie? "Oh, I thought it was really good." I'm like, did you even pay attention? Because she's just like Googling over him, and I'm
if
like,
there's any consolation here, you can tell your wife, I believe you're funnier than him.
oh, then Chris?
Oh yeah.
I'm not as funny as Chris Pratt, but I might beat Chris Hemsworth.
There you go.
Pratt's
There you go.
Pratt. That dude,
He's pretty.
that
funny.
dude is legendary.
But back the insecurities, I still have them to this day, and that's something that I'm going to work extremely hard at. I have confidence. I more confidence I've had probably since I've been married.
Dude, it takes guts to come here. Takes guts to tell your story.
Dude, I was nervous, and I'm
takes
not-
guts to put it out there.
Yeah,
you throw on the mic, like, this is going to be heard by a lot of people.
That's
But-
great. You know, if I can get one person that's on the fence, at least to try it. Like, so I was the guy on the fence looking for something to try. And Casey, and I hope this gets to him. I hope he can hear it because he changed my life to a point where I'm going to live to, hopefully, barring any unforeseen circumstance, I'm going to live to see my kids grow, get married, have kids,
absolutely.
grow old with my wife, and be in the best possible shape I can possibly be in. I mean, I was staring another back surgery, a fusion, and that's a multi-level fusion, and there's no going back from that. Now, I was on a nerve inhibitor to sort of ease the nerve pain. I have decreased that by half, and the only reason I still take it is because it's something you just can't stop. You have to wean yourself off, and
That's amazing.
and it's emotional to talk about out loud. It's not as emotional maybe as you're thinking, but out there I was shaking. My hands were in my pockets, they're clammy. I've settled down a little bit since, but it can't be said enough of I was the guy on the fence looking for something.
The thing is, too, is when it comes to confidence, you know, a lot of people wish they had more of it. You know, we all do.
Yeah.
I think. But the one thing about confidence is the only way to get it is to work for it. It's really it. Anything else is fake, for one thing. I mean, Brent had a lot of confidence, but it was really just stupidity. There was a time where Brent seemed really confident, but it was all fake. Superficial. Genuine confidence.
Fake confidence. Is that what you,
Faux.
Yeah.
Faux confidence.
Faux confidence.
There we go. It's faux confidence.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about
Candace,
is,
Dorn.
you know, when you're able to be strong and know you're strong physically, when you're able to, discipline equals freedom. You know, when you're able to implement some discipline and then gives you the freedom to not be a diabetic, gives you some discipline to be a better father and to be around for your kids, to play games with them, gives you that discipline gives you the ability to grow old in a much better way, right? All these things, and by implementing that and earning it, you earn that confidence. Now we all are, when we're all so much more confident when we go out and we work for it. I heard Jocko Willink the other day, and he's like, been doing jiu-jitsu forever. He's like, I walk in a room and I pretty much look around and be like, yeah, I could beat everybody up in here. There's some confidence, right? That's one type of confidence. And then, gosh, I wrote a book, you know. Jocko's like, he wrote a really good book, and it was one of the best sellers. I'm actually a pretty smart dude. Like, intellectually, I'm one of the smarter guys in here, right? You earn that by putting in the work. And there's no shortcut to confidence, really. It's got to be by putting in the work. And so you make that decision on December 26th. You execute. You get to where you are now, which is impressive, and you've earned it.
And that's the thing, is the hardest part of this, the decision, right? And that first couple of days. But every day is getting easier. Now, I don't want to not go. I feel guilty. I could probably be doing something right now. Let's go for a walk. At the very least, go for a walk. No, I'm going to go to the gym, go for a run. It's been really cold up north. You know, we had that polar vortex, so you can't run outside.
You mean Fargo? Like, literally, Montana overnight was turned into Fargo.
It was crazy.
Unbelievable.
You couldn't do anything outside, so you're cooped up in the house. So I just crammed on a treadmill and went for it. It gets easier, and that's I think the hardest thing for me. It was too hard at first. And God, I don't know if I have that kind of dedication. I don't know if I'm even that bad. Do I really need to do this? Excuses to justify, I'm not going to do this. And my wife really was my best support, as she would be.
She has to be.
Yeah.
In a marriage, in a business partnership, your partner has to be equally yoked with you. There is absolutely no question. My wife, same thing. Brian, his wife, Suzanne, they went through some trials and tribulations with cancer, things like that. Your partner is so vital in that journey that if they are not with you, they are essentially against you, unfortunately, and they're an anchor. They're pulling you from your potential.
And and
So
it's
to have
hard.
Holly's support that's everything you need to start taking those steps. And here's one thing that I really love that you said is like, okay, it's easy now. Easy comes from that repetition, and repetition is what brings conviction.
Absolutely.
Conviction is now you are wholly convinced of the process. You've seen and experienced the transformation. You're seeing the changes in your life, both mentally, physically. And like Casey says in his film and Decisions, my favorite quote from it is he says, the decisions you make are not solely based on decisions that are best for you, but what are best for everyone who's around you. And so you talked about that earlier about how the decisions now and the motivation, your kids. I mean, I was doing the same thing, Travis. I shared a little bit about my story with you earlier. My kids would be like, hey, let's hang out, Dad. And I'd be like, YouTube. And then I'd be on my phone on Instagram scrolling, double tapping or checking stuff at Mountain Ops. And I was totally disconnected from my kids. And that is so selfish.
Very selfish.
And so pathetic. And I'm sitting here telling people to their face that I've grown businesses over the last 10 years and I missed out on both of my sons' first 3 years of their life because of it. And now I'm sitting here and I'm continually missing out on their life because I'm not looking up. I'm not being active because I'm making excuses and I'm saying that it's okay to be the way I am. And I'm using devices to like entertain my kids instead of being the entertainment. And what's more joyous in our lives than being the entertainment for our children?
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
You just said something about being an anchor, and I was the anchor.
In
My
the fam-
my wife would say,
Holly's like,
do something,
yeah,
do something, just make it happen. I don't care what you do something. I look back and it was so many times, and I was the anchor, and I'm trying to get back to the ship and off the seafloor. I really am. And I've made a lot of progress. I have a long ways to go.
Do you mind if I
Go.
So,
Please.
you know, looking at this whole situation, and you were talking about a Spartan race, and jumping in on that. How does hunting keep you motivated to stay fit? Does it
I'll be
not?
honest with you. There's 6 weeks a year. I'm not a rifle hunter. I just bow hunt, but I try to bow hunt into rifle season until it gets too cold. Maybe a fair weather hunter, if you want to call it that. I'm a warm
yeah, because
weather guy.
Montana, your guys' dates go into a little bit October.
Yeah, the second week of October. September 1st. 6
You
weeks.
guys have the best dates.
We do. And then there's a dead week, and then you can get right back at it.
Yep.
I only look forward to hunting. That's all I look forward to. And then I was sort of a tree stand hunter. So that was being a lazy hunter. I kill whitetails all day. I have a friend that has a ranch in Ennis, Montana, and it's down. It's river bottom. I can shoot a buck beside me. I can shoot him anytime you want. I go to elk camp the last week of bow season. And it was pretty easy. I was riding around on a Rogue Ridge. Just being lazy. But I did pedal. It's
Did you pedal?
It's
Yeah.
pedal assist.
The pedal assist. So there's about a 80% assist, 20%
That's
pedal.
being generous. Because I knew, I'm like, I'm not this in shape. And that seat
It's so
is,
true.
that seat's only that wide. So this backside is not.
You've got to worry about the double wide.
Right.
Right? You're like,
You know, and I missed the bull of a lifetime this year.
did you really?
Yeah. 338 inches. The only reason I know that is because the first week of rifle season, it was shot.
Somebody else got it.
John Party, the country singer, his dad shot it.
What an a-hole.
And he sent me a picture.
Yeah, seriously, what a
He
jerk.
sent me a picture. He said, hey.
And he sent you a
insult to
picture.
injury,
Yeah,
It was
here's some
within
salt,
the-
bro.
within yards of where I shot from.
Oh.
And he dumped it with a smoke pole.
Well, yeah, I mean, gun's gun,
Oh,
bow's
dang.
bow. But-
Hey, I mean,
How- And was it, and the inability to capitalize on that opportunity, was that because of physicality or mentality? Like mentally?
you know what?
Like,
You go to look back, and looking back, there's all the signs of me being unhealthy. I missed big deer, big whitetails. I never miss.
there's confidence right there.
And there was
Confidence in your
but
shot.
As you become unhealthy, you can't hold as steady, and then you're missing. And then you start losing that confidence. Now you're second guessing. Oh, it's my bow. I dropped a Matthews. I have a new Hoyt. I've been a Matthews guy for 20 plus years. And guess what? I was not shooting that Hoyt very well. Now I'm starting to get it. I'm starting to get my confidence back. It's just, you look back and there's all these precursors and signs of, boy, you should have been paying attention, because there's 3, 4, 5, 6 years that you weren't healthy mentally, physically. I used to go to do these in Montana. Spring basketball co-ed tournaments is huge.
Oh, you played basketball? I wouldn't have guessed.
No, I'm a short burst guy. We're talking about it now. We're thinking about maybe doing a spring tournament.
League
It's awesome.
That would have never been on my radar for the last 4 or 5 years. Just never even think about it. Spartan race. I mean, like I said on video, you guys look like you're monsters. You look huge, big. I walk up.
Did we disappoint you?
I mean,
you should see me when I'm flexing down the stairs.
You guys are beautiful as well.
That's awesome.
I just don't, maybe because my wife is so tall, I don't realize how large I am. And to be this size, and there's probably people 10 times bigger than me that's done these Spartan races. This is a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And I got involved with my 2 best friends. They're going to do it with me. They're not working out. They're just sort of freaks. And I told myself the other day, I was like, I ain't going to wait for them. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to keep going. And I got thinking, well, maybe hopefully they wait for me, because I see some burpees in my future.
I'm good at those.
You're welcome to the gym anytime you want to do a WOD.
See, the reason I ask is because, sometimes people have a hard time finding the motivation to say no to the pizza and say yes to the gym. And often, it's something as small as finding a community or some people that can support you in like a Spartan race or a train to hunt challenge, or even just doing the total archery challenge on the mountain, 2 or 3 courses in the same day, things like that, and then your hunting season. For me, the biggest driver for when I'm down there suffering in the gym, when I'm suffering climbing the mountain with a heavy pack, it's because I have so much drive to go in the backcountry and hunt. And I know I can't do that if I don't have the fitness to go with it. So I suffer in all those days of the year where I'm not actually hunting, so that those moments I shine.
And I want to get there. And the community that I couldn't turn to a lot of my friends, and that's not a dig to them. A lot of them are in shape still. A lot of them are different. Some don't have kids. I just felt,
those people.
I wanted to get to go somewhere where no one knew me. It's like a fresh start, right? Mm-hmm. And the support group that you guys have created is unbelievable. You read on there, and I don't scroll past. A lot of times you're on Facebook or Instagram, you're trucking for something that interests you. I read every testimonial, every person's success. Maybe even you get a couple. Well, I haven't seen nothing yet.
Is it in the Mountain Ops?
This is our
Mountain Ops Facebook.
Yeah, if you go to Facebook, we've got a Facebook page group, and it's called the Conquer Fitness and 90-Day Challenge group. And it's about almost 4,000 people are in there now. We were actually talking about this in a meeting the other day. That feed has more posts in it regularly, daily, than I have in my own feed on Instagram, with messages from people like you, or from Katie or Kaylee, or from Joe Blow over here, or Sally Lou over here. And it's amazing to me. I actually get more stoked on getting into that group and watching that feed than I do going on just my regular one.
Yeah, it speaks for itself. And like I said, I'd just truck past posts. There, I read everyone because I want to see, I could learn something from that. Or, he's doing something that might help me, or I'm doing something that might help him. Hey, how do you do your ammo? What, it's sort of been, I'm getting bored with it. Well, 30 people give their take on it.
PB Fit, bananas, peanut butter,
anything.
Mix it up. Yeah.
One guy asked, he's all, what's your calorie intake? And I said, I bought this box. I sent the picture. Here's the meal plan. I've been buying these boxes. I have a couple of them. I'll send you one. It's online, but I'll send you one where you can keep in your kitchen, and you can just right there. I'll send it to you. I'll do whatever you need to help anyone out in this. And I know that it'd be reciprocated if I needed it. And these people are strangers, but you talk to them like you've been talking to them for years. The push, I stay quiet for the push-up challenge and doing it. It's too good to just pound
The
like
dry
dry.
drink when they just throw the powder down and then water.
Yeah,
I'm like, mix it together.
yeah,
Like
it's
I know
way too
that's
good to be burning
that's too
it.
hardcore for me. I'm like,
Yeah, me
also
either.
I'm worried if I was to like sneeze and it goes up into the nasal.
I've done that.
That's not fun.
For me, it's just good for you.
One thing you said though that I really want to touch on real quick is you were afraid to tell some of those closest people in your network, your friends, maybe even some of your family. I advise people a lot on this. I remember when Gary Vee said this, he said, be very careful who you share your dreams with or your goals or your ambitions, because sometimes it's even your wife, it's your dad, it's your brother, it's your sister, it's your best friend that will, when you share that, hey, this is what I'm going to do, they're actually the first ones to say, you can't do that. And so that's really hard for people to understand and try and internalize, because they're like, but this is like my family or my wife or my support system. But sometimes our very most intimate support systems can become so unsupportive of our desires that we do have to be careful who we trust to share those with, because it's like Holly. When you shared that with Holly's like, babe, I've just been waiting. I've literally been waiting for you to do this. Now that you're going to do it, let's do it. And I will help you do it. And all of a sudden you have the most important piece of that puzzle figured out. And then finding, like Brian alluded to, finding a community to become part of. That's why, it's funny. People like, they talk about CrossFit and that it's so like a cult. And it's funny because, I think there's parts of CrossFit that are kind of cultish, but that cult comes and stems from a community of people that are so stoked to see people reach their personal best, try doing things they've never done before, exercising with a group, and it becomes like a family. And so when you speak to this group that has kind of formed in the Conquer Fitness group, it's become a family. These are people that you and I, as we've interacted with them, meeting you, like when you were joking, you're like, dude, yeah, you sent that message. And all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, man, like I remember when I sent that message, I remember you. And I have never seen you in person until now.
Right.
But I feel like I know you because I'm following your journey as you're sharing it.
I showed Holly, I'm like, look, Jordan from Eric's Bull in Idaho, this sort of, we'd watch him. He just wrote my post. Oh, good, and I don't know if
Holly's like, that's cool, neat.
Yeah.
Who cares about Jordan? Yeah. Have you taken your vitamins today?
It's really cool. I tell her, well, these guys reach out to you. They show genuine interest, and it's just not. You guys aren't. How do I want to say it? You guys are getting people healthy, and you're probably only seeing a slight picture of what your guys are doing. For me, the physical change is awesome. That's a lot of things are going to come with that, but my mental game is huge.
Is so strong.
And I was going to say,
your confidence is rising. I can hear it in your voice.
Depression is a horrible thing.
Oh,
it's
it
a
is.
scary
Depression
thing.
sucks.
It's terrible, and people struggle with it. I think all the time, from our diet to a million other things. And the one thing that they say universally about depression, there's one thing that every single doctor, psychiatrist, and so on agrees to, and that's physical activity is an antidepressant.
Mm-hmm.
Physical exercise is an antidepressant. So when you start moving your body and pushing it and exercising, it's pain, right? Like David Goggins, you got to go to war with yourself every day.
Yeah,
right?
Every day is war.
When you go and you
battlefield awaits.
When you go and you push yourself, right?
Or Jocko Willink.
You make yourself go do things when it's hard. That actually, as counterintuitive as it may seem, because you're sitting there going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to. It seems like this is not good for me. It actually is. And afterward, the way you feel, the endorphins, the way your body's responding.
It's a natural high. It's a body high.
Oh, it's such a body high.
And
that's why you say like you're kicking the alcohol. Alcohol is probably one of the biggest antidepressants, the most ineffective antidepressant out there, because people use it to try and eliminate some of the depression that they have. And there's lots of other things. There's drugs, there's alcohol.
I would say alcohol is a depressant.
Or sorry.
But can be, people using
it. Excuse me for
it.
vocabulary. What I was trying to say was it's used as an antidepressant.
And it's complete.
But it's not.
It's not. Oh, that's what I was trying to say is like people use it almost like a medication. Like, oh, well, just grab a couple beers down the hatch and my worries go away. But then all of a sudden they wake up and they're right back there. Nothing changed, right? Two things that I want to say real quick to Brian's point is the hardest part, I think, for a lot of people in this journey is comfortability is the thing that is
Did you just make up a word there?
Comfortability. Is that a word I just
I don't know. I think you made it up.
Let's find it.
He's hard on you in verbiage.
He is. He needs to be.
The verbiage is
Comfortability.
Real word. It's real word. Thank you.
Let me see.
This
Let me
is
see.
a noun.
Comfort.
Countable and uncountable, plural, comfortabilities.
The condition of being
comfortable. So I just want everybody to know that even though he tries to make me look and feel like an idiot,
No.
this is the third time.
This is where
my
we
words.
get to,
I don't make up words.
This is-
I hear them. I read them in books, and then I say them out loud.
This is
But-
where we get to learn.
This
I
is
just
where
didn't
we-
know if you George Bush that thing, dude.
Oh yeah. What was George Bush's there? Then he'd always say strategy. Today we are going to war, and today we will use strategy to get to victory.
I think
And you're like-
strategy is a word, though.
Maybe it
that
is.
a spot on impersonation. Bless your heart.
Good old George Bush, dude. What a legend. But being comfortable or comfortability, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is a big thing that I think people need to understand and begin to accept because fitness and health and depression come from being comfortable in life.
It's funny you say that. I was going to touch on this. I've been listening to Cameron Haynes, and he was on a podcast with Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
And he says you get to a point where, is it pain? You need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yep.
He's all about, you're going to hit this threshold. Well, how can you run so many miles? Well, I hit this and then it gets into pain, but I go through that pain. And I kid you not, the next day I hit this wall.
While you're running?
Just a little over a mile. And I'm like, I'm just going to push through this. What's the worst going to happen? I can pull some muscles. I could pass out, fall off the treadmill,
Right.
and maybe break something. And all of a
can live with
sudden,
that.
I hit that wall, and I went over it, and it got easier.
Yep.
During that one run, I'm like, I
Yeah.
hit 3 miles. I did 3 miles in like 37 minutes. I ran for 30-some minutes straight. I'm like,
That's
Yeah,
the war.
too
Dan
that,
knows what he's talking about. Just
that's the
Too
war
many
that Goggins
people-
is talking about. Is
Too
like
many people quit. They
Oh, yeah.
They,
they never know what they were capable of or could have done or what their potential could have been because at the moment of trial or the moment of like opposition,
Mhm.
they cave. They either charge forward like you did
right.
and they overcome the obstacle or the barrier and they move forward,
But there
or
was
they
hundreds
retreat.
and hundreds of times I'm hitting it and I'm stopping. Or I'm not getting to quitting's quitting. If you quit
You're done.
here, or if you quit 2 seconds from 20 minutes, you want to get 20 minutes, go to 20 minutes and 5 seconds.
Yep.
Make up for the time you quit. And now that's my goal is I'm not going to stop at 20 minutes. If I'm running for 20, I'm going to go to 20 minutes and 10 seconds,
yeah.
every day until I can catch up on the time that I've
And the biggest part of all this, I feel like, has always kind of come back to those goals, right? Your motive, your desire was stronger than your will to fail. And that's kind of the real difference that you're going to find in people that are comfortable getting uncomfortable. And living that kind of a lifestyle that becomes actually kind of comfortable. It's the weirdest thing that this guy would be in my ear all the time because Brian's very bold. Jordan, you're soft. Jordan, you're dead weight. Jordan, you're fat. Jordan, why are you eating
I'm very
stupid things?
direct.
He's very
Honest.
direct, and he's the best friend that you could ever ask for because he doesn't sugarcoat things and tell you what you want to hear. He tells you what you need to hear. And all my friends, and even my wife, was telling me what I needed to hear. They were, yeah, I'll love you whether you're fat or not, babe. And I'm like, really? Because you're freaking hot, you're slender, you're beautiful, you're fit, and here's this tubby dude over here, and you're okay with that? Babe, I'll love you till you're old and gray. And I'm like, no, you won't.
yeah,
Come
liar.
on, don't. You're going
Not
to
with
fall.
Chris Hemsworth on the screen.
Yeah,
Wow.
bro comes up on the screen, and it's like, gosh, no, I got to compete against that. And I find that thanks to good friends and a community, and Brian and I have become very close friends now in the health and fitness side, and he's coaching me on a lot of things that I need help on, not just grammar, but also my health and wellness. And that friendship and that bond and that community that we're building, it's so crucial and vital to reaching the goal. And one of the things, a quote that I was trying to remember, but I finally found it that I wanted to share real quick. And then I wanted to ask you one more question in closing was, the quote is, have goals so big you get uncomfortable telling small-minded people. And I love that quote because when you think about it, in the early beginning, you were afraid to just tell people that you had a goal. And so you were fearful of what they might say or what they might think or how they would react and ultimately probably be the ultimate demise of your goal and talk you out of it and say, you know what, fine, I'm just going to keep living the life I'm living. I'm going to keep being unhappy and depressed, and I'm just going to keep doing my job, and I'm just going to be, this is my routine. To the point where you will get to, I promise you, Travis, you will get to the point like this where your goals will be so big that now when you go to some of those people that were so small-minded, you'll be uncomfortable, not because you're starting from ground zero, but because you're on level 9. You know, you're on cloud 9, excuse me, and you're afraid to like share the goals that you have because of these small-minded people. And so it's kind of interesting the transformation that also takes place in confidence when you build it after all the hard work, and then sharing that with people who you see aren't as confident, and you're afraid that maybe your confidence will overcome theirs or not. But in all, the one thing I wanted to ask you real quick was, in a final question, as again, we're in March now, and so you're almost to the end.
I'm 2 weeks out from being the 90 days.
You're going to hit your 90 days. And obviously what we love about the 90-day challenge, what we tell everyone is 90 days is the springboard to building healthy habits, routines that should live well beyond 90 days, right? We're kickstarting and jumpstarting your life and your journey to continue on forever. This should never just, oh, cool, I got there and now I'm done. That's not what 90 days means, and you know that. But for someone who's starting out, somebody who's depressed, somebody who is unhappy and does not love what they're doing and their life sucks and they have all these excuses and my life is terrible and all this stuff, what is one simple piece of advice that you could offer to that individual that's hopefully listening today on this podcast?
You know, for me, looking at 90 days, boy, that's a long time in if you think about it. And for me, what helped me, I didn't look to that 90 days. I didn't look to the end of March. I looked to breakfast. Here's what I got to do for breakfast. And like I said, when one step turned into one day turned into 3, and it got easier. Then I could start looking at oh boy, I lost 27 pounds in as many days, 27, 29 pounds. And what am I going to do this month? And now I've really forgot, and in all honesty, that there was 90 days. I'm looking for when, hey, gosh, my ammo's almost gone. That means we're about a month in, we're about another month in. Let's go get another box to see where we're at. Because I'd only weigh myself every couple weeks. Because I wanted to see progress, because I felt progress would spur me to go harder. And truth be told, I'm going on a cruise in April.
Oh, he's getting his beach body.
And I told Holly, this is a shirt off cruise. I might blind people from my powdered white skin, but
I might be so reflective that the sun can't burn me.
You're right.
Yeah.
And she turns olive, and we're going to be yin and yang. But it's going to be a shirt off, short. John Stockton would be proud because his shorts are coming back with a
the
vengeance.
Sis leader himself would just look at you and be like,
I told you so. And I'm going to get some hot pink, and I'm going to have a tank top that says the Catalina wine mixer because we're stopping in Catalina. And I'm going to enjoy this. I want to have fun, because the week after is the Spartan race, and I think if you can relax a little bit before something important, and it's important to me, and I just don't want to finish. Finishing is starting. My wife's rubbing off on me. Setting goals, achieving goals. I want to get to a point where it's not I'm not all right with just getting my goals. I want to go past those goals, so, and you guys are doing that for hundreds, thousands of people. You're getting people to set goals and hit them. Maybe go further. You're saving lives.
To conquer more.
Yeah. this turned into something that I would have never guessed. 3 months ago, I'm sitting in my bed staring at the ceiling going, I don't even want to get out of bed. Now I'm in the Mountain Ops
Sitting on
HQ.
the podcast with Jordan
Yeah.
and Gritty and throwing it down for the world to hear.
It's crazy.
But you know
where
what?
You can go.
You know what, Travis? What I love best about what you said, and what I hope people will take away from this, I think there's so many wonderful things that you shared today, and I want to just, on behalf of Brian and I both in Mountain Ops, thank you so much for being willing to come on the podcast and share your story. It's as simple as making your bed in the morning.
It's
the
easier.
first thing you
I
do.
way prefer to go to the gym than make bed.
Yeah, right?
Let's be honest.
Yeah, but just if every day if the one hard thing you do to start your day was to make your bed,
Yeah.
and you do that over and over again with everything else in your day, because you started your day that way, your day will be a complete reflection of that, and so will your life.
There's just a lot of wisdom in the movie What About Bob?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there
and
is.
so I mean the Tourette scene is awesome, but also let's be serious, those baby steps matter. You just said
Move forward.
I
don't
was
move
worried
back.
about breakfast. And
Yeah.
after that, I was worried about lunch. I wasn't worried about the end of 90 days.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all we got to do is focus on one step at a time.
Yeah. And on that, I just want to say thank you to you guys. You've got me to turn the corner, and I'm in the straightaway looking for another corner to turn around. I'm going to get to this point, and then I'm going to start checking body fat percent. I want to look like you guys.
Yeah, right?
Just, if I grow a beard, which I can't,
Hey,
I feel
the
that's
goatee's looking strong.
that's a level.
I can see that there's some
madness.
patches.
It's patchy.
It's patchy. It's
And
a
that's-
patchy beard.
We're not even.
Yeah.
I don't want to have nicknames that I don't approve of. It's just not.
No.
I have a mustache and I look slightly.
Don't give your friends a reason to
Pedro.
like chip away at your confidence when you're
Yeah.
already got so much. One thing real quick, if we could now for the listeners, if you guys want to go on to the Mountain Ops YouTube page where you can watch the show, I wanted to just throw up real quick, if you can, your pictures of the, kind of in the 90 days essentially. We're 2 weeks out, but what you look like before and what
I'm going to show
look
you
like now.
a picture, which, mind you, I haven't shown any of these. I was going to wait till the end of the session, if you will, or end of the 90 days.
End of the 90 days,
actually
yep.
Throw myself out there. So this is starting here. This is day one. Just sort of, I had man boobs, which
Moobs.
it's not even kosher. It's slightly illegal. Dad bod. Typical dad bod. No definition. I used to have big arms. My wife's like, I used to love when you had big arms. Well, they're still big. They're just
They're just
more
gone.
they're more circular. That's just, you can see the look. You can see my stature. I'm sort of curved. I'm standing straight now.
Your posture's increased.
This is hunting
This
season.
is the picture we were talking about with you
Where
and Holly.
my cheeks stick as far out as my ears. And I got a beautiful wife. I mean, she definitely settled a little bit. This is my little girl. This is a whitetail we shot this year. Just her and I. She chose the deer to shoot, more or less, and I didn't want to shoot a doe. And
I mean, yeah, you look at that, Travis.
just look.
You have changed so much, brother.
Yeah. And
That's a fat
So
face,
much.
Travis.
it's, yeah. Thank you.
Be more direct, could you?
And this
Brian?
is my kids and me were fishing. My fingers, my wedding ring, it's fallen-ish off. I mean,
Wow.
my fingers eating my wedding ring in that picture.
It's funny, you were talking about how my brother was bemoaning that he gains weight all in his belly, while you were saying you gain weight all over your
all
body.
over my body.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty
Just
evenly
distributes everywhere.
Yeah, and
distributed,
don't get me wrong, I still had a spare. I still
I mean,
have a spare.
if you're
but
going to be one of those guys that gains weight, that's a nice way to do
it
it.
is. And when someone says, "How much do you weigh?" I'm like 300 pounds almost, right at the 300-pound marker. They're all, no, because you cover it up. And this is me on January 12th. I'm 8 days in.
Oh, wow.
And I am
Wow.
I'm a shadow of this. I'm never gonna go back here.
Oh yeah, this guy's dead.
Yeah,
we killed this Travis.
You know, and my wife has been the best thing that's ever possibly could have happened. I thank her. I mean, even here, I'm just the string's cutting into my cheek, shooting my bow, and this is up at Total Archery in Big Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want a truck. There's no
cruise up the mountain.
Oh, and I want to shoot.
Can you imagine like 40, 50 pounds lighter weight?
Let's just go grab dumbbells.
Yeah, like
let's
that's
just have you
my
walk
whole
around with those.
backpack.
It's hard
Not
to think.
on my body
That's the
anymore.
only way to really describe it. Like, go grab 225s and just start walking.
Just start walking around for a long
and
time.
it's like,
and feel that pressure on
holy
your
cow.
knees and your joints, and your body is at large.
Yeah, you got to feel so like
You know, it's kind of
quick.
Again, in closing, but I just want to say this based on what you just said about Holly. I always had a hard time with the statement, behind every good man is a good woman. I was like, no, I don't
You sexist pig.
right next to me. Right next to every good man is a good woman, right?
yeah.
But then I started to think about it. The reason why they're behind us is because they're having to push us. I mean, really,
Picking us up when we fall.
until we stop being lazy or anchors in their lives,
Yeah.
and we catch up, then they become equally yoked with us. And next to every good man is a good woman. But truly behind us, the woman has to push us, like you described how grateful you are for Holly and what she's done. I, too, am grateful for Jordan, my wife, and I know...
And I'll tell you, my greatest source of confidence in my life is my wife. 100%. Because she's the one that tells me I can do anything, that I'm a freaking god in terms of my physical appearance, that I'm sexy, handsome.
You guys are shorter gods than I anticipated. But, you know,
He's a really short little demigod over here.
They come different
But
heights.
no, she seriously, I always say, like, about 5 years into our marriage, I'm like, here, you have such a profound impact on who I think I am. Like, you have so much influence on my image of myself and my confidence that, you know, if you do me a favor and just always lie to me about how awesome I am, even when you don't think so, that would work out great.
It's how marriages work.
So she tuned into that right off the bat. What she thinks of me is everything to me.
So true. Yeah, we would not be the men we are today without our wonderful, wonderful wives. And with that is a wonderful episode and a great way to end. Travis,
Thanks,
seriously,
Travis.
brother.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your story. And you are living our why.
And just to let you know, I was on Nichols. Is it Nichols down
Nichols
there?
Road? Yep.
I was FaceTiming my wife. I'm like, I'm going up there. Maybe I'm not. It's getting late. It's 2:00. She's all, no, you need to go up there and spend a couple minutes with the guys up there. And once again, that's her saying, you know,
That's her behind you, pushing you.
I'm trying to, because
You're trying to make
I'm
excuses
being
to ditch.
uncomfortable. I'm like, maybe I'm just, you're just being a wuss. Let's get up there. And I'm just driving. I'm like, I'm going to do it.
So awesome.
So
I'm so glad you came in.
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely.
And you're saving lives. And I mean that. And it's not being cliche in no way.
No. And for everybody, if as you've heard this discussion today and you want to check out the Facebook group page that Travis was alluding to and we talked about a little bit, go on to Facebook, go type in Mountain Ops Conquer Fitness and 90-Day Challenge, and you're going to find that group of about 4,000 strong of individuals making each other stronger, better. Also, if you want to check out the 90-Day Challenge, if you go on our website at mountainops.com, you can check it out there, and it's fantastic.
It starts every month, beginning of every month.
It's not just we did it for the first quarter.
Yep.
Every other month, it just shifts. So
Right.
February's 90 days started back in February, and March has started this month, and it'll go on and so
Yeah.
forth. So
So
thank you again, brother.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Hey, appreciate it.
Thanks.
Hey, Luke, I'm going to have Luke.